story of mankind could not have unfolded as it has without the horse. Our history has been written on horseback. Vienna, the erstwhile Habsburg residence at the heart of Europe, a city of Baroque opulence and a metropolis of music. Vienna, the home of the Spanish riding school. A majestic white horse takes its bow. The lippizaner of Vienna's Spanish riding school. The oldest breed of horse still being bred, the lippizaner has served man well for centuries. It is a product of an extraordinary evolution. All the surviving species of horse can be traced back about 55 million years to the dawn of prehistory, the Eocene. The horse's tiny primeval ancestor, known to science as Hyracotherium or Eohippus, roamed the undergrowth of marshy woodlands and lived off fruit and foliage. The climate and the environment changed. The swamps turned into prairies. Eohippus' teeth adapted to the tougher grasses. The ancestors of the modern-day horse moved out onto the prairies and gathered into herds. They were constantly on the run from predators. If they escaped, they owed their lives to their speed. The drier ground contributed to the process by which their lateral toes gradually disappeared. Some 10 million years ago, Pliohippus made its appearance, the first single-hooved horse. It had grown in stature to about the size of a pony. The ancestral horse spread across the land bridge by the Bering Strait from North America into Asia and Europe, where its descendants live to this day. In America, it became extinct during the Ice Age. Equus pszewalski, the wild horse, was the final link in this long evolutionary chain. Early man hunted the horse for its meat and its hide. It was in the late Neolithicum, around 4000 BC, that the horse eventually became a domestic animal, and men took to the saddle. The mounted warrior proved faster and more deadly, and so men came to use the horse, like so much else, for military purposes. Warfare turned an animal into a prized war machine. The equestrian nobility came into being. Masters on horseback, servants on foot. Arabia, the land of Mohammed. The prophet was also a great lover of horses. The legend has it that Mohammed resolved to test his horse's stamina and loyalty. For days on end, he kept them in an enclosure deprived of food and water. When he finally released them, they rushed headlong to the river to quench their thirst. Then the prophet called their names, and behold, 5 mares thrust their way through the stampeding herd and cantered to their master, bright-eyed and whinnying with joy. Mohammed blessed them, naming them Al-Khamsa al-Rasul Allah, the 5 of the Prophet of Allah. They were to become the ancestral mothers of the finest Arabian horse breeds. Arabian horses came to Spain with the Moorish invaders. Carthusian monks, who also combined serving their god with horse breeding, crossed Arabian and Spanish steeds, producing the famous grey, the Andalusian. Named after a region of southern Spain, they've made Andalusia famous the world over. For centuries now, Andalusian horses have been famed throughout Europe for their special qualities. They're gentle, vigorous, intelligent, and loyal. In Spain, they continue to serve as valiant companions for the men who watch over bull herds. Even bulls destined for the arena, the Plaza de Toros. Bullfighting on horseback is a classical equestrian art in Spain and a matter of life and death. The horses, impeccably trained, prance and taunt the enraged bull. The precious white Andalusians were much prized at the courts of Europe's rulers. The Habsburg court in Vienna was no exception. In the late 16th century, 9 stallions and 24 breeding mares were brought from Spain to a village in what is today Slovenia. Lipica. It was here that the Habsburgs established the imperial stud farm. Later, the Andalusians were joined by stallions from Denmark, Italy, Bohemia, and Egypt. This rugged karst landscape was to be the cradle of the illustrious lippizaners. The early lippizaners were anything from chestnut to black to roan. Their white color came only later. They took their name from the village of Lipica, although since 1921, the Piba stud farm in the south of Austria has been the home of the Spanish riding school's famed stallions. This is the domicile of the noble white horses whom we shall later be admiring with their riders from the Spanish riding school of Vienna.